Where has Melania been? That question has followed much of Donald Trump's time in the spotlight, as his wife has often remained out of view except for certain official appearances at state dinners, United Nations events, or the occasional high-profile engagement. Her absence has been noticeable. But now attention is back on her after a newly surfaced clip from Marine One sparked headlines about tension in their relationship. We're going to break down the story and what it could mean. But before we dive in, I'd really appreciate it if you could take a second to like this video, and if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. It really helps us continue our work. Now, before we get into what happened on Marine One, let's rewind to what led up to it earlier today. Donald Trump's outburst over James Comey.
Because that's how it went, where they made you go and take a mugshot. Is this more about justice, or is it about revenge?
It's about justice, really. It's not revenge. It's about justice. It's also about the fact that you can't let this go on. They are sick, radical left people, and they can't get away with it. And Comey was one of the people. He wasn't the biggest, but he's a dirty cop. He's always been a dirty cop. Everybody knew it. And it's, as far as the case is concerned, he gave an answer. It was a strong answer. He then verified it a couple of times because that was a very important answer. If he would have equivocated, if he would have been like a little bit less sure, that would have been very bad for him. So he gave an answer. The only problem is for him, he didn't think it'd be caught, and he got caught, Peter.
I have to admit, I'm a little confused. We keep hearing from Donald Trump and his supporters that we all need to tone down our rhetoric, that calling out their behavior somehow dehumanizes political opponents. Yet at the very same time, Donald Trump himself is perfectly comfortable labeling Democrats as dangerous radicals and even targeting individuals like James Comey. That double standard says a lot. When people on the left highlight the harmful words or actions of figures like Charlie Kirk, who openly dismiss the idea of empathy, we're suddenly accused of fueling division. But when Trump goes after his critics, it's treated as business as usual. That's why I refuse to play along with this one-sided blame game, especially not when the same administration laughs off or excuses the kind of political hostility that truly does put people at risk. And while all of this is happening, Trump is also ramping up attacks on Democrats with misleading claims about the economy. We'll get into that in a moment, and then talk about his heated argument with Melania that was caught on camera aboard Marine One.
Are you worried about American workers suffering if the government shuts down? And do you have plans to permanently?
Well, we're going to see, but the radical left Democrats want to shut it down. I mean, it's up to them. We have a great economy going. You saw the numbers yesterday. They're fantastic. The economy's doing well. Prices are down. We have virtually no inflation. Everything's going good. We're respected by every nation in the world. And you know what happened? The Democrats want to shut it down. And they want to shut it down because they want to give billions, ultimately trillions of dollars to illegal migrants, people that came into our country illegally. Some of those people are criminals, but they came into our country illegally. And they want to give them the essential over years, trillions of dollars. And our people aren't going to stand for it. They also want to have open borders. They want to have men and women sports. They want to have transgender for everybody. These people are crazy, the Democrats. So if it has to shut down, it'll have to shut down. But they're the ones that are shutting down.
What does Donald Trump think is his reality? Did he win the most sweeping mandate in history in a blowout election in which he now has both chambers of Congress? Or is he always the, oh, little baby Donald victim? Oh, I'm the victim. The Democrats are being mean to me because they don't want to kick millions of people off of their health care. Which is it, Donald? Because Democrats aren't shutting down the government. Democrats aren't the ones responsible for your shitty tariffs, ineffective tax on all of us. What are Democrats responsible for, Donald? Are you still saying this is Joe Biden's economy? Because you can't get out of that just as much as you can't get out of the fight that you were caught in with Melania. Trump and Melania in finger-pointing exchange on Marine One. Donald and Melania Trump got into a heated exchange aboard Marine One after returning from the United Nations General Assembly. Footage shows the first couple sitting opposite each other on the helicopter as it landed on the White House South Lawn. In the video shot on Wednesday night, the president can be seen pointing a finger at his wife, who shakes her head in response. Moments later, the couple disembarked the chopper, walking hand in hand across the South Lawn, looking somewhat tense. Last year, experts said Melania was unlikely to move back into the White House full-time if Trump returned, serving as a part-time First Lady, and that appears to have come to pass. She is based mostly in New York, while her husband remakes the West Wing to his taste in D.C. There are often long periods when the 55-year-old former model is not seen in the Capitol or alongside Trump on his regular public outings. She skipped the August 15th Alaska summit, where Trump hand-delivered her letter to Vladimir Putin, and was absent again when he welcomed Vladimir Zelensky and other European leaders at the White House days later. CNN reported on August 23rd that Melania had only been seen in public on 19 days during Trump's second term as president, compared to 40 at the same point in the previous term. She was with Trump during September's state visit to the United Kingdom. But according to the Daily Mail, the pair slept in separate suites inside Windsor Castle. The incident aboard Marine One comes as Trump continues to rage that he and Melania were targets of what he called 3 very sinister events at the UN. A frozen escalator, dead teleprompter, and muffled audio demands. He's now wrapped into an official complaint. Author Michael Wolff told the Daily Beast podcast in May that Trump and Melania are effectively separated and live separate lives. They clearly do not in any way inhabit a marriage as we define marriage, Wolff said. And I think maybe we can more specifically say they live separate lives. They are separated. The President of the United States and the First Lady are separated. That didn't really look like the most loving exchange. I don't usually point at someone like that when I'm being polite or complimentary. And Melania's reaction didn't exactly read as playful banter either. Of course, I'm sure some will try to spin it differently. But what we saw seemed tense. Reports from multiple sources over the years have suggested that Donald and Melania live largely separate lives, which wouldn't surprise many people. Still, they do come together for public appearances and business ventures when it suits them. And while this latest moment is getting attention, what stood out even more was Donald Trump's comments to reporters earlier today, where he once again misrepresented the truth about corruption. For a clearer picture of what's really going on, Senator Ossoff put it best in his response.
Deeper story here about corruption in American politics, which is something the Democratic Party needs to focus on, which is that Trump, in my view, is a symptom of the deeper corruption in our politics. Like, how is it that we have a demagogue who promises to tear it all down, elected twice to the presidency? It's in part because much of the American public has lost faith in our political system.
Totally agree.
And with just cause. Since Citizens United, this political system has been corruption on steroids. And that is a big part of why policy doesn't serve ordinary people. So as Trump poses this sort of radical threat to the rule of law and the Constitution, things that we have to protect, we can't just become mere guardians of the status quo. We have to be about change and reform. And money in politics is like the root of all of this.
Senator Ossoff is absolutely right. I know it can feel strange to call Donald Trump just a symptom when he's so ever-present, so front-facing in our politics. The chaos and corruption are impossible to miss. But the truth is, he represents a much deeper problem, a broken system. Now, Trump promised he would change that system, and in a way he has, by making it even weaker, more chaotic, and more vulnerable to corruption. That change has only been for the worse. Democrats, on the other hand, need to step up and promise real change as well, but this time actually fix the system, rather than use it for personal gain or political retaliation. A clear example of how Trump has abused that system came just last night with his renewed attacks on James Comey, something many see as an effort to distract from the release of the Epstein files, which Lawrence O'Donnell broke down in detail.
James Comey referred to his family in that statement. He obviously is including his daughter, Maureen Comey, former federal prosecutor who was fired by Donald Trump and Donald Trump's Justice Department. She was the lead prosecutor in the Ghislaine Maxwell prosecution. She is the federal prosecutor who knew more about Ghislaine Maxwell and her prosecution than anyone else, and Ghislaine Maxwell's co-conspirator in sex trafficking, Jeffrey Epstein. Donald Trump made sure that she was fired before Donald Trump sent his criminal defense lawyer, his personal criminal defense lawyer, to Florida to interview Ghislaine Maxwell, now that Donald Trump's personal criminal defense lawyer is his deputy attorney general. He had to make sure that Maureen Comey was out of the way before he did that. That's one of the people James Comey referred to tonight in that video statement, and that quote, that line that he used, "Fear is the tool of a tyrant," is what his daughter, Maureen Comey, said when she was fired by the Justice Department in an email to her colleagues. She said, if a career prosecutor can be fired without reason, fear may seep into the decisions of those who remain. Do not let that happen. Fear is the tool of a tyrant, wielded to suppress independent thought. Instead of fear, let this moment fuel the fire that already burns at the heart of this place. A fire of righteous indignation at abuses of power, of commitment to seek justice for victims, of dedication to truth above all else. Donald Trump does not often delete social media posts. That is the rarest thing Donald Trump can do with a social media post, but he did it. He did it with the social media post in which he ordered his attorney general to.
We have to look at every single one of these events together because they all show the same pattern. Donald Trump using public office to benefit himself, shield the wealthy, and target those who dare to speak out. Hopefully, that won't include us. But either way, we're going to keep calling it out and keep fighting for accountability. If you'd like to support that work, you can hit the subscribe button, leave a like on this video, and if you made it to the end, drop a blue heart in the comments. And until next time, I will see you soon.